What's up, good people all across the world? This is the Dripping in Black podcast. I am your host, David B. Lewis, and this episode is a little different than what we do in the past and what we've done in the past. This is the Creator's Drip. And during the Creator's Drip, what we do is the co-creators of the Dripping in Black podcast have a little conversation around the podcast and some topics that we would like to share and discuss with our audience. And so without further ado, I want to bring in the man behind the scenes, Shawn Smith, aka S Squared. Say hello to the world for us.
What's up, world?
All right, so let's begin our first segment, and we're going to call this the Creator's Conversation. All right, and so we're just going to kind of kick it a little bit as we do in our podcast. The podcast in general is just a conversation with people that we bring on as special guests, and the whole focus is to demonstrate the Black excellence that spans our communities at large. So let's just get into a conversation. Let's begin with this whole idea of dripping in black. So I know there's a trailer out there, but for those that haven't seen the trailer, give them the Cliff Notes version of where this concept of dripping in black emerged.
You know, Dripping in Black, the actual name came actually out of frustration. I was coming home from work, and I was, dealing with my co-workers. I was tired of the inequalities and all that other stuff. And I said, man, I just want to see some Black excellence. I don't want to hear no junk. I don't want to hear none of that stuff. I want to see Black excellence. I just want to drip it in black. And that's where the name came from. Now from that, the whole idea, I do some consulting work, education. I'm in the education field, and the dripping in black is the attitude. Is, you know, it's. I want to do everything in Black excellence. I want to be around Black excellence because that's what drives me. That's what motivates me. That's what inspires me. So that's where it came from. And then, sometimes you share your idea and somebody else take it somewhere else, and we say, "Oh," and then poof, you got a podcast. Yeah. So although it's a lot of talking, there was a lot of praying, there was a lot of stuff between the name and where we at with it now.
Yeah. And so the interesting thing is, you and I, we talk all the time, we hang out all the time, and of course COVID hit, and that kind of pumped the brakes on a lot of that stuff. Of course, we were in constant communication, but you know, we have, whenever one of us have an idea, we'll run it through some channels, and you know, both of us are on our channels. And so, you know, one of the things for me during COVID, well, it was quite a few things. I'm not going to try to go too far with it, but we know we had COVID hit, and that gave us time that we normally didn't have. And then, of course, you had the George Floyd incident. And, like many other people, it just brought so many things to the forefront. And it was great to see people get out and march and, protested in full force like we saw it. And, of course, some people are still out there doing that. And, but for me, I was trying to figure out what my role would be, trying to go against this systemic injustices that we've been facing for too long, and how to make myself most productive. So those kind of thoughts were kind of bubbling in my head. And, during the downtime, I was thinking about what some other things I could be doing with the time to kind of broaden my abilities and perspective on things. And one of the concepts was podcasting. So I looked into it and read about it, but some of the previous conversations that you and I had, you had already been talking about podcasting. So then the meeting that happened in which we birthed the Dripping in Black, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't stepping on your toes, because I know you had talked to me about a podcast, and then all of a sudden here I come with an idea, hey, I want to do a podcast, So I said, well, let me tell Shawn what I'm thinking. And what I thought about it was, I can see myself doing it. I can see myself inviting people on, allowing them the platform, and just asking poignant questions, because that's kind of in my nature. And so that was kind of where my mind was about the podcast. But I was struggling with the name. I was struggling with the name. Like, what's the name going to be? I didn't want it to be education based. I wanted it to be open to all kind of genres, and I wanted it to be about Black excellence. And so in that conversation, I'm sharing that idea with you, and then you bring up Dripping in Black, and I say, that's it. That's the name of the podcast. And so it's just amazing to me how things work, because you had we like to call it in our circle, the Damascus Moment, the road to Damascus moment, where, you were driving down 75 and boom, Dripping in Black kind of comes at you. You had to pull over and and jot stuff down. It got so hot for you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you had that months and months before, I had this epiphany about, me doing a podcast, but the two kind of came together to birth it.
Oh yeah, because it was funny, because that wasn't the plan, because I was starting the twin of Dripping in Black, the Urban Educator Forum. I was starting that, and that was about education. But Dripping in Black, like I said, I pulled over. I wrote down some stuff. I was using the recording part of on my phone, and that night I went to go look for drippinginblack.com and to save it, because that was one of the things I did that night to see if it was available, and bought it that night when I found it. So it was funny, because that was the second thing, because it was a part of my higher ground educational resources, but it didn't have a product. It was kind of how I was operating. I'm operating in Black excellence. Math Noir, which is my tutoring and my curriculum stuff dealing with math stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it had to be Dripping in Black. Everything had to be Dripping in Black. Then you said a podcast with Dripping in Black? I said, yeah. So, we in COVID, and again, I'm an educator, and we didn't know how we going to teach. So I had to buy I was buying green screens. I was buying, recording stuff. And I was up there studying this stuff, because we didn't know what education was going to look like. And I had to finish the semester, because we was on spring break pretty much when it started. So we started buying this stuff, and then David said something, he moved in, and like I said, the logo was there. I had the logo already. I had, the name in there, the DBA and stuff. So all that stuff was there. It just didn't really have a product. And the first product, do a podcast. And here we are.
Here we are. And by the time I came with my idea, you had a lot of the equipment necessary to make a podcast happen, especially in the Zoom world. And, you had a lot of the knowledge base, and so needless to say, that meeting where we kind of got the general consensus around it led to several other meetings, and, we birthed a podcast. So let's talk about how you feel about what we've done thus far. So at the time of the recording of this Creators Drip, we have recorded more than 7, right? But we have the 7th episode about to drop on Thursday. This is Wednesday night. So let's talk about how you feel about how it's going so far.
It's going, man. It's definitely grow, change. We talk about grow, change, and develop in our reciprocity group, and it made me grow, it made me change, it made me develop, made me have attitude, it made me have to do all types of stuff because we had to learn this. We had to learn this. You
Yeah.
know, I'm gonna tell on the host. The host said, "Well, I want a visual representation." I was just thinking of an audio podcast, cut it up, boom. I've learned that already. I'm good. Video. I don't know video. I don't know video like that. I don't even want to know video like that. And he said visual, visual. And I had to go. I went to YouTube University and had to figure it out. I was telling somebody the story, how I figure out what I'm going to use. I had to figure out first what was free. And then second, I took one of those YouTube videos that says, we recommend 3 or the 3 best things. I said, I'm taking the middle one. I don't care what it is. I'm just going to learn the middle. So I ain't going to sit around debating which one I'm going to learn. I don't even care. I'm taking the middle one. DaVinci was the middle one. Boom. That's the one I'm going to learn. We go do this, and that's what we've been doing. And and I don't know, the viewers probably could see if you look at what we recorded is not in the order in which they've been released.
Yeah.
So going through that, we ain't gonna tell our story either. So if you see it, we know. I said, man, we came a long way from that first one. Now, like I said, I think we recorded probably 10 or 11, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But they wasn't released the same in order in which we recorded it. And I said, man, we came a long way, because I had no idea of what I was doing. I just took a couple of days, and I just had my YouTube videos, had a pretty much streaming, had in order, said, okay, I didn't do this, let me do this. I was doing it with it. I was doing all types of stuff, man. And I blame David for that, but I did learn something. It's definitely a knowledge set, but that was not my goal when I started. We even actually tried to find somebody to help us out in that area, and it didn't work out. And I said, but guess what? It still got to be done, and it still got to be done in excellence.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be no Rudy Poot stuff that we put out there. Yeah. I said, I got to learn how to do it. I said, if we're going to do it now, one day, I might not have to do it, and that'd be great. But until that day comes, unless somebody out here that really want to do that, you come contact us. But
that's for real, people.
Oh yeah, for real. For real. So that's what we do, man. We had a thing. We always sit back on stuff and let it die and stuff. I wouldn't let nothing die, because we see what COVID did. Again, this is a COVID removed every excuse that I had. You don't have enough time. So we were sitting up here in the house and doing nothing. I better learn something. I better do something. When I come out, I got to come out better.
Yeah.
I heard a quote today. I was listening to another podcast, and it said, I'm going to mess it up. Pretty much was saying, don't reach for what it was, reach for better, or something along that line. It'd be a meme soon on the Dripping in Black somewhere, and all our social media somewhere, because that was a nice quote. I'm messing it up now because I've been on the run all day today, but it was
So my side of that story is, the whole time when I was talking to you about the podcast, the visual was part of it. So that was the interesting thing. I always thought of the podcast as having a visual component, right? I didn't think of it as just an audio component. And so there was some meeting of the minds that had to happen with us too on that. And, so we had that, and we have both the audio version as well as the video version. Drop that channel on them for us, Shawn, where they can find it.
The Dripping in Black channel is, in short, Dripping in Black in short is DiBk. So Dripping in Black channel on YouTube. Go subscribe. We're expanding the channel. Each time we doing that thing. So we giving you some content. But it's all in Black excellence. So you can guarantee that's what it's going to be. It's all in Black excellence.
Yep. And then tell them about the Facebook page as well.
Okay, the Facebook page is DiBk 20 on Facebook and Instagram. Same name under Facebook and Instagram. There's a Twitter. I haven't really got doing well on the Twitter yet, but it is Twitter, and it's they mix it up. If you put in DiBk 20, it will come up, but it's really, what is it? They got it backwards. It's BK20 DI or something like that. So Twitter is struggling, but you can get a lot of nice articles and stuff on Twitter. So I'm gonna get that together.
The Dripping in Black Facebook page, what kind of things are on there? I mean, so people, we've invited people to the page. What do they get out of that page?
Well, it's Black excellent. It's articles. There's videos. Of course, we promote, the podcast and all the things that's going there, as well as higher ground information. Higher ground has been, Math Noir has been the biggest thing I've been working on as far as the math curriculum and stuff like that. So you get a smorgasbord. The thing that we want, I'm going to answer David's question before he asked the question. If I had one wish, I want people to be interactive with it, because we want to talk to y'all. We want to see what's happening. We want, we want that interaction in there. And we want more of that. We got to do our end, and we're going to do that. But we definitely want some interaction in that in that space.
Yeah, that's definitely coming for the Dripping in Black podcast. Is coming up with a way to be more interactive, because we're putting a lot of good product out there, and we just want to get the reaction that people are experiencing with it, and we want to spread it as well. So I want to give my this is an inside joke. I'm gonna give my social media. Just look me up at David V. Lewis on Facebook. David V. Lewis on Facebook. And I typically use my social media to promote the Dripping in Black podcast as well. Shawn, give me your personal.
People could never find mine. It's Shawn Smith. And so you go through Shawn Smith, you're going to see a whole bunch of other stuff. Put in Shawn Smith, Michigan State, you might find me better. But yeah, people don't have very poor success rate just finding me on there. So you better off going to DiBk 20, Dripping in Black 20, and you'll see the linkage, or I definitely will see it.
So we talked about how it's going, so how the podcast is going so far, and you mentioned a couple of places outside of the U.S. So tell the world about.
On the platform that we were on, you can see where people are logging in or downloading the thing. And I saw one of each. I saw one to Singapore, and the other one, I want to say was
I think you said Japan.
It was Asia. I want to say it was Japan. And I said, wow, I hope people ain't just scamming some VPN to do that. But yes, I saw that. I said, that's wild. And it's been consistent too. So somebody over there is dripping in black.
Yeah. Yep. So we global, and we always talk about we going out to the world, and that's what we're affirming. All right. So that's cool. We'll wrap that up. That's the creators conversation. The two creators coming together and just conversing and kicking it. I want to go into the next segment. One of the things that also was kind of, I say spontaneous, maybe organic is probably the better word. We came up with the Dripping in Black Challenge, right? And so the Dripping in Black Challenge is every second Thursday of the month, we're going to make that a celebration of Black excellence. All right. And for now, in the COVID world, what that looks like is, using your social media to post anything you deem to be Black excellence. And so an example could be just you dressed up and dripping in Black attire. And so we've had several questions about, well, what does that mean? Well, it's an attitude. When you're dripping in Black, you feel like, you get on your best, you looking your best, right? You popping your collars, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so that dripping in Black challenge, what we seek is people posting themselves in some dripping in Black attire and then tagging us, tagging me at David V. Lewis, and then tagging Shawn Smith. And also, can they tag, because I have this question. Shawn is the brains of the operation, if y'all haven't figured that out yet. So I'm going to ask him a question.
Only on the tech side, because Dripping in Black Challenge was definitely a David thing. Because as soon as I give David idea, my first thing is, man, he giving me more work to do. Because we're going to do something and it's going to birth. It's kind of organic. The last one we did, we put a little video together of all the postings. It's, like I said, you could post David, or you definitely post DiBk20, hashtag DiBk20, and they'll go to our page. And that's easy. Because I stripped all those and put a little video together to do it. And what Dave, like I say, what we decided to do is on that second Thursday, that's the Dripping in Black Challenge, but that's also when we're going to release the Creators Drip. So this one will, again, it will be, when you see this will be November 12th, which is the second Thursday. So on that day, you're posting your Dripping in Black. It don't have to be
all
just
Black.
Black attire. It don't have to be. It's nice if it is, but that's not what it is. We're looking for Black excellence. So if you're a part of the Divine Nine and y'all doing something excellent, put it up there. If you see a post of somebody doing something great and they got that melanin skin, put it up there. Just tag it. We'll get it because we changing the narrative. That's the part of about. That's what we're about. We changing that narrative. We hear too much of the negative stuff, but it's too much positive stuff that we don't know about, or we poo-poo it off. Give me that Black excellence, and I'm going to scream it on the top of the hill, saying this is what we're about. Y'all don't want to report this, but okay. But we're gonna find those things and we're gonna put emphasis on those things because it's out there. It's out there.
Yeah. So that's really the driving thing. So again, earlier I mentioned George Floyd and how can I contribute? So for me, one of the motivating focus points for me, the spirit behind the Dripping in Black podcast, is attacking this false narrative of Blacks being criminals and thugs, and every time you see us, that's how we are portrayed. And most of us Black people, we may know a thug or two. In fact, we might have a thug or two in our family, but the vast majority of us, are not thugs. The vast majority of us are not, even on that street level. We may have street knowledge, but we ain't on that street level. We more hardworking individuals trying to make things happen, and a lot of us are doing excellent things, and we know it, and we know people all around us, but that story doesn't get told. So the Dripping in Black podcast is telling that story. But on the second Thursday, we're just celebrating us. And we shouldn't have to apologize for that. If people are getting offended by the fact that we are celebrating our Blackness, that's their problem, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do, is celebrate Blackness, make that a lifestyle. The Dripping in Black podcast is not going anywhere. We got guest after guest after guest, and we got guests rolling in And there's just too many stories to tell of Black excellence for this thing to end, you know. And so we're going to continue to push that narrative because it's the true one. All right, so great conversation. That was a little bit about the Dripping in Black Challenge. So again, I like to, as a teacher in me, wants to make sure we clear. The second Thursday of every month, we're celebrating Black excellence. We can do that through sharing a post of you and something you feel dripping in Black. You know, you're doing your thing. And if you share that post on your social media, we just simply ask that you tag us. And then, Shawn, the question I was coming to you about was, with the Dripping in Black channel, I mean the Dripping in Black Facebook, can they tag that page? That was my question.
Yeah, that's what if you do hashtag DiBk20, it'll go there.
It'll go there, but that's not the same as like clicking on the tag button, right? And then finding your friends.
If you put in at DiBk20, it will tag it that way because it is a page up there. So yeah, it would be, I believe it would be at DiBk20. That's like that's like the name of the page.
Okay. Yeah. And so of course the tag Shawn and myself, you all have to be Facebook friends with us for it to kind of tag. So, you know, those of you that are not Facebook friends with us, go ahead and reach out to us. Again, David V. Lewis at Facebook, and then Shawn Smith. You may have to go through a few, but none of them are as beautiful as this Shawn Smith. So that should
whatever. Put in Yaktown, Pontiac. You at least narrow it down.
Yeah. And so let's get the Dripping in Black Challenge going. We need to shut down Facebook with it, right? That's my vision.
November 12th is your next.
November 12th. We celebrating Black excellence, baby.
Well, again, this is not advertised. I might cut this out and put it as advertising, but it definitely is, when you see it, when you see this is November 12th. So you'll see it'll have been advertised by that time.
Yeah. All right, so that's cool. Let's move on to the next segment. The next segment in this Creators Drip episode, we're going to talk about our own drip of the month. And so this is just stuff that we, you know, Shawn and I, we talk all the time. We talk pretty regular. We, of course, see what's going on in the world. And so, you know, something that sticks with us for that 30-day calendar period between the second Thursday of the month and the next second Thursday of the month. Or when the honest truth is the recording of the Creators Drip, between that recording to the next recording of the Creators Drip. And so we'll talk about, you know, maybe one thing that really stood out within that time frame. So I'm gonna turn it over to you first, S Square. Give me, what's your drip of the month you want to talk to the people about?
Well, actually, it's one of the things that my drip of the month is one of the things that we're both a part of, and we have formed a community. As you see, he's popping that shirt. It's actually our inaugural episode with Tracy Causey Bryan and what she's doing with Blacklit Matters. It's a book club. We read in Brainwash right now, and the conversation is gold. It's gold. Now it's platinum. Let's see. I want to go platinum now. It's platinum. It's so deep in enrichment. It's so enrichment that we have formed a community. It is definitely a community.
Shout out to the Blacklit Matters fam. Y'all know who y'all are.
Yes. And we're not going to name everything. Oh yeah. I gotta go read. So finish my read.
Indeed.
So I could be prepared. But you know, one of the biggest things that we did was, one of the parts of it is that the money that we collect and raise, so that goes to send kids books, Black kids, Black books by Black authors with Black characters. I know I did it out of order. Sorry, TCB, but I got them all in, I believe.
Got them in there.
Right. So that's what we're doing, and she's have sent some books, and the biggest one is that she got an order, and she just sent some books. So I believe it was Zambia in Africa.
Yeah.
So Blacklit Matters has definitely made it around the world, because she was boxing it up in the last couple of weeks, I believe, couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out, my drip of the month got to go to Blacklit Matters and the community, and sending those books out to those kids. And if you go to Blacklit Matters, you can also see those kids with those books. She wasn't playing. That was a great idea. So I'm a part of that group, and I love it. And good people. You want to be good people. You want to be around excellent. It is out there. Just go out. You just go out there and talk.
Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to TCB, the Queen. I want to give a honorable mention to JB, Jerron Bryant, whose idea might have actually got stolen by TCB, but that's another conversation.
Oh yeah.
All right. So my drip of the month might be a little controversial. It might be the first controversy we get in with the Dripping in Black podcast, but it has to be the contract for Black America for me. And of course, it became a big controversy because of Ice Cube, who was behind the contract. But I'm gonna take it a different direction, because I actually read the contract. And my profession is a history teacher. And when I read it, what it sounded like to me is the Declaration of Independence. So I know a lot of people haven't actually read the Declaration of Independence out there, but I'm a history teacher, and I've read it, and we try to teach that because of some of the democratic values that's embedded in that document that leads to our independence as a country. And in essence, the Declaration of Independence was, the colonists at the time declaring independence from Great Britain by speaking to them about their grievances, right? And so these people didn't have the power to really claim their independence. Well, what I mean by power, they didn't have the influence. Of course, they ended up having the power, obviously, but they were in the underdog role, the colonists. And so, but they were sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so they penned the Declaration of Independence, and they asked for, their grievances to be met. So that's immediately the connection I made when I read the contract for Black America. It's like our Declaration of Independence. If you read it, it's very comprehensive. Cube has been talking about the fact that there's some things that needs to be added in, okay, but there's a lot of things that it addresses. And so, I just would urge people to get out there and read it. And then, the goal of it is not just about the president, but it's about making it an issue, making these grievances known, and whoever is in power holding their feet to the fire to meet our grievances. And if we come together as a collective to fight for these grievances that are well deserved, they're true. If you read the contract, these are all things or issues that are related to our people, and it's a good way for them to be addressed, or the word is redressed, to redress our grievances for the several hundreds of years that we've been in this country. And it's not a big ask of the government. So I think if we pull together and try to push for these things, that's real productive. That's bringing about change. That's finding justice for George Floyd. That's finding justice for Breonna Taylor, and the many, many more. I don't even want to get on the list because it's just too many to list, but you all know the story. So I would urge you to read that contract, and then if you're so moved, let's do the things that we need to do going forward to try to make that a reality. So that's my drip of the month.
Well said, and I'm sure that would be a drip of excellence coming soon to your DiBk channel.
Yeah. All right. So before we go to our closing thoughts, you know, we're going to work the magic of Shawn's ability to produce. But I always ask guests, have they been on the cover of a magazine? So, it's only fitting that we place ourselves, the creators, on the cover of our very own magazine in the mode of one Oprah Winfrey. So you all are going to get a look at it right now. We're going to put up the Dripping in Black magazine with the creators of Dripping in Black. So make it happen. That's squared.
Oh yeah. I was thinking, am I I ain't gonna call it vain. When I put a cover of myself up there, then I said, yes, that's excellent.
Yeah.
When you're looking at it, I'm sure it's going to be in some of the stuff before, but yeah, this is what we're about, and we're going to be on our cover. Yes, we are.
Yeah. So, again, you're looking at it right now. You all can, as we become more interactive, kind of tell us what you think about it. I think it's Dripping in Black. I think this is exactly what we mean by the challenge. So, some of y'all got to step your game up. But
we are dropping. We're dropping the gauntlet now. We gonna start it off. So now you see what it's supposed to be. We ain't even in black, but we're dripping in black.
Yeah. All right. So let's go with just kind of closing thoughts. Anything you want to discuss with regards to the podcast, where we are and where it's headed, and just closing thoughts as we wrap this episode up.
Closing thoughts. I want to give a couple of shout outs. First of all, when I'm doing the editing and things like this, and I'm trying to get a flow of what's going on, what they're saying, what style it is. The first shout out got to go to my boy Keith Bubby Webb, because he keeps the music. The music is original. The music is
future guest.
Oh yeah. Bubby, yeah, you go fill out your form so we can get you on here. So that's a big thing for me, because that is a part of it. When I told him what I was looking for, when you hear the theme song, that's my theme song. I'm sharing it with Dave now, but I said, this is what I want. This you know me, because that's actually Bubby's my cousin. You know me, and you know what I feel, because I followed him. He's a musician, a professional musician, and I followed him since when they were sneaking him in the clubs to play when he was a little kid. So shout out to Bubby. And the other one is DiBk and the creative group, because the logos from all of Higher Ground Education, including the Dripping in Black, and they did it. I said, that's it. That's what I want. I wanted dripping. I wanted this. And we went back and forth with a few. This is what they came up with. And that's what we rolled with. So definitely them too. And also you got to thank the guests that we had thus far and the ones that's coming. The ligature, the things to put all that stuff together is their spirit. And that's what the excellent is. Yeah, you got people to make money. Yeah, you got people that's doing these things, but are they doing it in the right spirit? Are you feeling them? Do they got the best interest in mind? And again, all the guests that we had, we appreciate you. We can't wait to have you back. So, and that ligature, the thing to put them all together, all the episodes up, the ones that's been edited already, 1 to 7. It's their spirit, and I hope that sticks out to you when you see it, because we're telling a story. We're changing that narrative. So especially when you're looking at the video thing that David made me do, you see how I said David made me do. it's telling a story, and it's from the old griots, and that's what we doing. But we're telling our story. We're not no longer sitting back and let our story be told to us.
Yeah.
You know, and because it's in a box, you know, it's what entertaining to the other folks. No, it's about what's going on in the Black excellence.
So my closing thought is going to begin with a shout out as well, and I'm gonna shout out my my homeboy S Squared because you know on the videos you see me, on the podcast, the audio version you hear my voice, but trust me, none of this stuff gets done without all the work that Shawn puts in behind the scenes. He's really the mastermind of this whole operation, and he makes me look good. I have the audacity to try to help him, you know, and give critiques, you know, when he's doing all the grunt work, and he receives it and steps it up to another level. So big shout out to Shawn Smith, aka S Squared.
And I do it with an attitude too. But sometimes that's not the dripping in black attitude. I get myself under control and go get the work done. Like tonight is gonna be an all-nighter because you have a podcast that's coming out Thursday. So
Tomorrow.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But again, there's always one coming out Thursday until Thanksgiving
Infinity.
and Christmas break. Thanksgiving and Christmas break we might take off. We'll see.
And then the other thing I just want to talk about, because you know, Shawn mentioned it earlier. We're growing, we're changing, we're developing as we go, and you know, I'm learning on the job of what we're doing. I was having a conversation with Shawn. I don't know when, maybe a couple of days ago, and I was telling him I'm excited about what we're doing because it's exactly what we envision ourselves doing. Now, are we executing it like we want to? Not quite. You know, we're getting closer and closer with each episode, but you know, that's the kind of Black excellence that's in both of us to kind of continue to push ourselves to another level. But we're definitely in the spirit of what we intended to do. So I'm happy about that. But the thing that I was bringing that up about was there's the final part of each, except for this one, each episode called the last drip. And I don't think that I do a good enough job at the end of the episode to remind people that the last drip is out there. And so some people may stop listening or turn the video off, but the last drip really ties into our Black history. So whatever we're talking about in that episode, we get one last drip of Black excellence by tying in history with that particular episode and something out of that episode's topics. All right, and so they're out there, and Shawn is doing a good job with kind of dropping those as last drips by themselves. But a lot of good history. It's a great thing for me because I get to do my passion of podcasting and then tie in my passion of history, specifically Black history, and talk about some of these unknown people or unsung, is what I'll say, unsung people in our history that have done excellent things. So that's my closing thought about the last drip. If you haven't seen those aspects of the podcast thus far, check them out, and then I'll do a better job towards the end of each episode of reminding you that there's one more segment.
Again, you grow, change, and develop. I already got a transition. I already worked on the transition and working on more on the episode, starting episode 7.
Yeah.
Already done. So yeah, we doing our thing. Support, contribute. That's what you can do. Contribute. Get your excellence up on here. We will shout you out. It ain't about us, you know.
Yeah. Watch the episodes because we do very little about ourselves. It's all about the person that comes on and their excellence. And you know, we've gotten people in a variety of ways. some people that we know personally, some people that have been recommended to us, and it's just too many stories of Black excellence for us to share. So we're celebrating Black excellence through the true stories of real people.
People you could touch. And again, one of the other things that I call it the lignature effect. If you hear something that your organization need a hand, contact us or contact those people directly. That's why we talk about their social media and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's about building that community. And in all my readings recently, that has been the one thing that's been sticking out. It's about that community. And when you get that community together, or you are part of the community, that you're accountable in that community, you can do all types of stuff.
Yeah.
It's later for the the narrative. We all in prison and all that other stuff. It ain't that fighting amongst each other, got to kill that too. But the thing is, the standpoint is going to be done in excellence, and do what you do. Know your strengths, and we're coming to find you or find us to tell that story. That's what we're doing. So, modern day griot.
Yep. Thank you, S Square. We will leave it there. Thanks, X Square, for joining me on the Creators Drip episode, and we will see you soon at all popular podcast platforms and on our own very own YouTube channel. Until next time, just say, be good, be good, be good. It is your choice.
Much love and be well.